Have you ever wondered which car engines have become real nightmares for their owners? Imagine having a car that can barely pass 100,000 kilometers without having any problems. That's exactly what we're going to explore today. Get ready to discover the 20 worst classic engines that left drivers frustrated and mechanics in trouble. From premature failures to exorbitant repair costs, these engines have turned driving dreams into nightmares. Stay with us and find out if your dream car can be a walking bomb. We start our list at number 20, Chevrolet 5.0 LV8, 1992 to 1997. Introduced in 1992, the Chevrolet 5.0 LV8 was used in several models, but soon gained the reputation of being a true reliability nightmare. Would you trust an engine that was born with defects? With cast iron heads and graphite bearings, this engine is heavy and inefficient. Imagine a thruster that works slower than you on a bad day. That's what you get here. The problems were right there. Many engines faced cylinder head failures and did not even reach 150,000 kilometers, a true mark of disappointment that left many drivers on the road of bitterness. Among mechanics, he was called the engine that doesn't want to work, and no wonder. Have you ever seen a car that seemed more interested in sitting still than running? Well, this engine personified that. At number 19, Chrysler 2.2L Inline-4 1981 to 1994. Chrysler's 2.2L Inline-4 engine, used in several models, is many drivers' nightmares. Notorious for mechanical failures, it has ruined the reputation of several vehicles in which it has been installed. A real problem on wheels. With an aluminum block, the 2.2L promised lightness, but its flawed design led to frequent overheating. It was like pumping fire into an oven, the perfect combination for an automotive disaster. Drivers complained about failures even before reaching 100,000 kilometers. It was so frustrating that many began to ask themselves, is it really worth owning a car like this? The answer was almost always no. This engine was designed to be light and efficient, but it turned into a mechanical nightmare. What should have been an innovation ended up becoming a walking bomb in many garages. A true automotive irony. At number 18, Volkswagen 2.0L, 1992-2006. The Volkswagen 2.0L, produced between 1990 and 2006, fooled many with its smoothness, but the reality was different. Due to reports of constant failures, few drivers managed to exceed 80,000 kilometers without headaches. This engine used a combination of iron and aluminum, showing an economical side that was actually its downfall. Unfortunately, the search for low-cost materials has led to far below average performance. Imagine this. You're happy with your car until, with less than 50,000 miles, the engine warning light comes on. Many drivers have encountered serious and unexpected problems, turning the experience into a true nightmare. Among brand aficionados, the Volkswagen 2.0L gained a negative reputation and became one of the most criticized engines. Enthusiasts often called him a walking bomb, a direct reference to the misfortunes he provided. At number 17, Ford 4.0 LSOHC V6, 1997 to 2009. The Ford 4.0 LSOHC V6, which dominated the roads from 1997 to 2009, looked promising but quickly became a mechanical nightmare. Did you know that many drivers find themselves facing unexpected problems shortly after purchasing? With its single overhead cam design, this engine does not deliver the expected power. In fact, most of the time, it simply fails, leaving drivers stranded at the worst times. One of the most notorious failures of this engine are the timing chains, which, when they fail, result in exorbitant repairs. Just imagine a frustrating investment that leaves you in a garage with the engine dismantled. Dissatisfaction with the Ford 4.0L was so intense that many engines were quickly taken off the road. This engine, which should have been a star, became a real walking bomb. What a waste, right? At number 16, Pontiac 6.6 LV8 1970 to 1979. The Pontiac 6.6 LV8 was known for offering jet power but durability. That's a different story. Many drivers have been frustrated to see their engines fail after just 100,000 miles. An explosive but risky combination. Built from heavy cast iron, this engine compromised fuel efficiency. Instead of gliding smoothly down the road, many drivers felt like they were pulling a battle tank. An economy that was a distant dream, can you believe it? Vehicles equipped with the 6.6 LV8 often faced premature breakdowns, a real walking bomb on the road, leaving the owners in trouble. Have you ever imagined this halfway through a road trip? Despite all the problems, the Pontiac 6.6 LV8 won a legion of fans. That raw power made many drivers ignore the flaws. With an unmistakable roar, the engine was an icon, even with its challenges. That's what the love of cars does. At number 15, Jaguar V12 1971 to 1997. The Jaguar V12, an innovation that left its mark, also brought heavy baggage. Its complexity was a nightmare for many mechanics, resulting in a series of problems that would make any car lover think twice. With dual fuel injection and a veritable maze of moving parts, this engine was like a poorly designed puzzle. With each repair attempt, new challenges seemed to arise, making maintenance a true test of patience. Excessive consumption, you bet. This engine was so hungry that it seemed to have an insatiable appetite. Furthermore, problems with rubber molecules made every trip a mechanical Russian roulette for owners, adored by lovers, but often a true financial villain. The Jaguar V12 not only won hearts, but also bankrupted many, as each visit to the workshop was a painful blow to the owner's budget. At number 14, Buick 3.8 LV6 1975 to 2008. The Buick 3.8 LV6 started out as a promising engine, but over time, it became synonymous with problems. It stopped being the bestseller and became a source of frustration for many drivers. What happened? Made from materials that wore out quickly, the 3.8 liters required constant care. If maintenance was not done up to date, you could expect unpleasant surprises at any time. Worried. Drivers often reported that reaching 200,000 kilometers without major repairs was a monumental task. The 3.8L's durability has become an urban legend, but not a good one. Was your car among the survivors? In the 1980s, the Buick 3.8L was a favorite, but its reputation quickly deteriorated. From hero to villain, he left a trail of disappointment and disgruntled drivers. What went wrong? At number 13, Oldsmobile 5.7L Diesel V8 1978 to 1985. The Oldsmobile 5.7L Diesel V8 tried to change the game with its transition to diesel, but it quickly became a joke, losing credibility and letting many drivers down. This engine, actually an adaptation of a gasoline engine, faced serious compatibility issues, leaving many to wonder, why didn't they think better of this? With many engines failing after just a few years, reliability went out the window. Homeowners became desperate, facing high repair costs and frustration. The Oldsmobile 5.7L Diesel V8 is considered a monumental failure, not just for the brand, but for the entire industry. A lesson that not all innovation is a good idea. At number 12, Ford Pinto 1.6L 1971 to 1980. The Ford Pinto 1.6L, although popular in its time, was marked by a series of problems that overshadowed its fame. Who knew that a compact car could cause so many headaches for American drivers? With a carburetor design that looked like it was made to fail, the engine couldn't handle the surprises of the weather. Pinto's story illustrates how even the best laid plans can go wrong on the road, overheating. It was such a common occurrence that it almost became a feature of the model. For many, reaching 100,000 kilometers seemed more of a challenge than an achievement. Would you dare? And it didn't stop there. The Pinto became synonymous with instability, making many drivers think twice before accelerating. Yeah, sometimes what shines isn't necessarily gold. At number 11, Honda 16 litros, 16.988 a 1991. The Honda 1.6 LZC, released from 1988 to 1991, started out as an enthusiast favorite, offering exciting power. But it didn't take long for it to become synonymous with frequent mechanical problems. The reason? The fragility of internal components. Owners began to realize that performance was overshadowed by unreliability. A true open-air mechanical disaster, impressive but alarming. Some ZC engines did not even reach 60,000 kilometers before visiting the workshop. A feat worthy of being called a walking bomb among car lovers. Despite its popularity, owners often found themselves struggling with constant problems. ZC won over fans, but left many frustrated, wondering, is it really worth it? At number 10, Chrysler 5.2 LV8, 1955 to 1979. The Chrysler 5.2 LV8, beloved by many enthusiasts, had its reputation tarnished by pollution and performance problems, turning what could be an icon into a true nightmare for drivers. Unfortunately, this engine had a high incidence of seal failures as a result of poor design. This left many car owners feeling like they were driving a walking bomb. Contrary to expectation, the 5.2 liters V8 often broke down sooner than expected, failing after just 80,000 miles. A big disappointment for those who expected more power and performance. With the potential to be a potent option, many drivers quickly became discouraged. The dream of speed quickly turned into a mechanical nightmare, leaving scars in the memories of enthusiasts. At number 9, MGK Series, 1950 to 1956. The MGK Series stood out for its charming 1950s aesthetics, but its mechanical flaws soon became a nightmare. It looked promising, but problems soon put an end to its fame. Although the design was simple and attractive, the quality of the machines was inferior. This resulted in an engine that left many enthusiasts frustrated, with performance that didn't deliver what it promised. The MGK Series was famous for its lack of durability. Many engines abandoned their owners before they even reached 50,000 miles. It was a real disaster coming off the production line. He tried to establish himself as a great icon among the classics, but the lack of reliability became an insurmountable barrier. The K Series was marked by having frustrated expectations, as the market did not embrace it. At number 8, Nissan SR20DET, 1989 to 1999. The Nissan SR20DET, although considered innovative, had serious problems that left many car lovers disappointed. Its durability was often a major concern for those expecting performance and reliability. The SR20DET's turbocharging promised thrills, but in practice, many engines suffered from overboost failures. A rush to accelerate resulted in disastrous finishes, turning dreams into nightmares. Unfortunately, many of these engines could not handle the pressures and failed quickly after about 50,000 miles. For the owners, it was a challenge to face them on the road without fearing the unexpected. The SR20DET was a strong engine full of potential, but constant failures disappointed many. What was supposed to be a performance machine became a source of frustration and endless mechanical stories. At number 7, Chevrolet Vega 2.3 litros, 1970 a 1977. The Chevrolet Vega 2.3L was marked in the history of automobiles, not for its qualities, but for its overheating problems. This engine was a real time bomb that left drivers on the verge of collapse. Built with non-optimized components, the Vega had disappointing durability. For many enthusiasts, it was more of an engineering mystery than a masterpiece on wheels. Overheating problems were so frequent that many drivers had to replace it before it reached 60,000 miles. It was common to hear stories of people left on the side of the road because of this engine. This engine became one of the worst examples of GM engineering. If you thought you were buying a classic, you ended up with a walking bomb that could cost a lot more than you expected. At number 6, Mitsubishi 2.0L Turbo, 1982 to 1989. The Mitsubishi 2.0L Turbo tried to conquer the market, but its partnerships with several models failed miserably. It was like an empty promise in a world where engines really needed to deliver power and performance. This turbocharged engine seemed like the dream solution, but when the time came, it failed to live up to its promises. Many drivers were frustrated to discover that performance did not live up to expectations. Suspension and slipping problems were common after just 25,000 miles. What should have been an exciting drive quickly turned into a nightmare on the roads, leaving drivers desperate. Without a doubt, many consider the Mitsubishi 2.0L Turbo to be one of the worst engines ever made by the brand. Its legacy of failures and frustration is still remembered by car lovers to this day. At number 5, Chevrolet 4.3 litros, 1985 a 2005. Despite some improvements over the decades, Chevrolet's 4.3L carries a burden of negative reputation. Many drivers question whether this engine is worth trusting, even with its attempts at redemption. With a V-shaped design and heavy components, the engine faced several challenges. No wonder many considered it a loser, as flaws began to appear quickly after continued use. What everyone feared happened. Many units were unable to reach 100,000 miles without experiencing mechanical failures. This leaves the question open: is it worth the risk to purchase a car equipped with this engine? Loved by some but frustrated by many, Chevrolet's V-engine is a perfect example of love with limitations. An engine that really could have been a legend, but that failed in terms of durability and driver's confidence. At number 4, Ford 5.0L Windsor V8 1962–1996. The 1962–1996 Ford 5.0L Windsor V8 looked promising, but its problems made it forgettable. Building on a strong legacy, it failed to deliver the expected performance that many drivers desired. With frequent ring and cylinder head failures, this engine has left many owners with sky-high repair bills. Mechanics knew this pain well, as the 5.0L became a financial nightmare for many. Surprisingly, the Windsor's average lifespan was only 100,000 miles. For a classic, this was a shot in the foot and a huge disappointment for those who expected more longevity from Ford machines. Such an iconic engine was expected to be durable. But instead, the 5.0L Windsor V8 sat in limbo as one of Ford's worst engines, disappointing enthusiasts and car lovers for decades. Now, we come to our top 3 on our list. Jaguar 4.2 LXK6, 1961–1975. The Jaguar 4.2 LXK6 is a symbol of elegance, but its sportiness is disappointing. Despite its beauty, its performance was far from expectations, leaving its owners frustrated and questioning their choices. With a complex lubrication system, this engine was a real challenge. Many vehicles suffered serious damage, turning these machines into real problems for owners. Impressive breakdowns have been recorded with less than 80,000 miles. One certainty: this engine was not just a disappointment, but a nightmare for mechanics and Jaguar owners. A design that seemed promising, but did not meet consumer demands. In practice, the Jaguar 4.2 LXK6 became a good idea poorly executed and forgotten in the history of engines. At number 2, Plymouth 3.2 LV6 1996–1999. The Plymouth 3.2 LV6 started out as a promise of power, but quickly became a burden. A massive investment turned into a monumental mistake, leaving mechanics and owners wondering, how did this happen? It seemed like the design prioritized performance above all else, but failed miserably to guarantee durability. The dream of speed faded away, while the engines became relics of poorly planned construction. Breakdowns before 50,000 kilometers. This was routine. Drivers were just trying to enjoy their machines, but ended up dealing with a mechanical nightmare that ruined their experiences behind the wheel. An engine that was dreamed of by many, but saw their hopes plummet. For dealerships, the 3.2 LV6 has become a nightmare to avoid, filled with complaints and frustration from disillusioned drivers. And now, first on our list, GM 2.2L Ecotec 2002–2010. Despite promises of improvements, the GM 2.2L Ecotec was like a star-studded football team that never managed to win. The engine base simply did not deliver what was expected, leaving drivers deeply disappointed. Unfortunately, the poor assembly quality was like a flat tire. It made everything go the wrong way. This failure compromised the entire production line, resulting in an engine that seemed more like a bad joke than an achievement. Imagine an engine that fails before reaching 60,000 miles. The Ecotec guaranteed this and much more, becoming a negative legend in the automotive world and leading drivers to question their decision to buy it. With so many problems, the GM 2.2 liters Ecotec is considered one of the biggest failures ever seen. He forced the company into a complete redesign, leaving an indelible mark on automotive history. A legacy that no one would want to inherit. And so we come to the end of our list of the 20 worst classic engines ever produced. Each of these engines brought not only disappointment, but also interesting stories on their journeys. Now, we want to know your opinion. Which of these engines is your favorite? Or do you know of any other engines that should be on this list? Leave your opinion in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible content like this. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss any news.